Yep. I'm 0.
2, 1, play. Oh, it is actually on 720. Never mind. Managed to find that in the archives.
Oh,
that's awesome. That's cute.
The 80s. What a decade for romantic comedy. We've seen throughout that decade what it could offer from the likes of The Secret of My Success, with Michael J. Fox and Helen Slater could entertain the audience with, and the likes of Tom Cruise with that dance strutting risky business, which has since ended status that was even referenced in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Garfield of all things. In the same year as The Secret of My Success, there was another romantic comedy that had a similar premise of a guy going from rags to riches, but this had a more fantasy twist, in which a former mannequin model maker becomes a store executive and having a relationship with a mannequin that he built that comes to life. No, I am not making this up. Along with a great ensemble cast with Getty, James Spader, and G.W. Bailey of Police Academy fame, James McCarthy would lead this lineup. Has this held up in the 35 years since its 1987 release, or will this feel wooden like a mannequin? Let's find out as we revisit Mannequin. This movie has what I like to think of as charming innocence, in the context of everyone could watch this and get something out of it. And I say innocence because, well, I'm just going to call this spade for spade. There are some exaggerated stereotypes that were used back in the day that was seen as okay, but looks cringy by comparison today. But before we get to the meat of that, John Switcher at the start of the movie as kind of a goofball with a lot of imagination and talent to his credit, but he tends to let himself get too caught up in the moment. This in turn leads to his first firing, where he is constructing his mannequin that he's a little obsessed with, and that he subsequently gets fired from other jobs ranging from a waiter, a chef, and a family entertainer. His latest job, Prince & Company department store, the same store he sees his mannequin in the store window. He pretty much gets a job in the same fashion as he got fired from. By accident.
Young man, what's your name?
My name, Jonathan Switzer.
You're hired.
Thank you. My lucky day.
Oh! I guess it was a shock to the system.
ouch.
Oh dear God!
Oh Jesus Christ! Why?
They implanted Mr. Richards to sabotage the company so it can be bought. And Richards is what you'd expect of a smarmy, slimy 80s a-hole executive.
Oh God! And he's played by James Spader too. Fine.
A-hole executive. He's basically a guy with a punchable face. Anyone could walk in and go, I don't know why, but I hate you. And you don't feel sympathy for this guy at all throughout the picture. He does pretty much everything he can to make John's life difficult.
Oh my God! Look at his coiffed hair.
I know.
Hair.
There are similarities
Look at the glasses.
to Richard's pattern, how a guy starts out with nothing and gets riches. But the difference is John isn't rolling in money by the end. He's rolling in love. And also, this came out in February of '87, and the former came out in April of that year. And in all this, I haven't talked about the title character, Emmy. Emmy's story begins before the opening credits as an Egyptian hiding from the event of an arranged marriage. Even at the start of the movie, that right before lunch, like that, you could see what direction this movie was going in. Emmy comes to life in front of John when no one else is around, and what transpires is what you'd expect.
What's the matter? Don't you like your new scarf?
Not especially.
Holy Jesus Christ!
That'd be like your
Oh my God!
Figure coming to life.
Ah!
Watch. I'm watching you. From that point on, Emmy pretty much has used helping him become a sensation with the window box with the other mannequins and their attire to draw more
Actually picked that
customers
up
to
in
the
LA.
store, which in turn elevates his progression in being promoted to Visual Merchandise Officer, for want of a better title. The way it works is that the gods only give life to Emmy in her mannequin body when her and John are unobserved, otherwise she's a mannequin. It does make me wonder what the unobserved puppets were like on the set of Thunderbirds back in the day. At night, John and Emmy would create draw crowds back to the store, saving the company from bankruptcy and turning a profit in the coming years.
Oh
This in
god.
turn has Roxy, John's ex-girlfriend, who's working at Illustra trying to sway him to her store, and he's not interested. Around this time, she's with Armand, who could not be any more of a stereotype if he tried. He's basically
Oh,
a discount
God.
Monero.
Yeah,
The only
that
difference
guy.
is John Travolta has talent.
Oh,
Roxy, you look foxy. Can I ride you?
I'll be walking to work, thank you.
Oh, no. Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
And you know when I said he's a stereotype?
Oh.
Well...
What did you just say?
Can I show you something in your size?
And speaking of stereotypes...
oh, dude, come on.
Montrose. Doesn't it just sing?
Oh,
Why?
Why?
Oh.
Very nice. Maybe I can get G.I. Joe and we can double sometime.
Jeez.
Oh no.
More flamboyant David
Okay,
Bowie
I
was
will
just
admit,
gimmicky
despite the
vigilant.
stereotype, I actually
Hollywood
thought
is
he
one
was
of the
funny as a
comic
kid.
reliefs of this story, and he acts as someone to break the tension where need be, and he's unaware that he's John's partner in crime for most of the stuff he and Emmy get up to. And speaking of comic relief, say hello to Captain Maxwell. This is basically Bailey's role as Lieutenant.
Oh,
Fang
this
at the police
asshole!
academy.
Yeah.
I wanted to punch him in the face.
And as amusing as he is,
Then again, I have like
doesn't do
predisposed
anything to
trauma from
distinguish
the
himself
Police
from his
Academy
Harris
movies.
Dude, have you
I
heard
don't
about
know
this
why,
concept
but I wanna
called
hit you.
range? A couple of moments that I found amusing but equally cringy are the following.
Rambo? Yeah. I call him that because he likes to draw first blood. Terminator. Lunchtime.
Oh, dude, why?
You'd think I'd be okay with this.
Oh god, that's so cringy.
He's basically Richard's lackey and by extension, BJ, who's the owner of Illustra, who's trying to sabotage Prince and John and Emmy's efforts, of which I think the audience spoke through her.
Valence crap.
Well, you know what they say. Actions speak louder than words.
Ah.
Probably the most satisfying payoff of the flick was seeing Emmy come to life after John saves her from the wood chipper that Roxy had dumped her in, and the janitor decides to get him some as well. Oh! Okay,
Ew.
people, I appreciate
Ew,
it's a
that
sensitive
is-
moment,
no.
but in today's
Come
climate, that would
on.
be frowned upon. In
Oh,
summary,
that
guy
no,
gets girl,
that is
guy
that,
gets major
no.
promotion and gets married, and all's well that ends well. You know what?
Yeah, like I said,
For
that
90
would be
minutes,
heavily
it's a
frowned
charming
upon.
trailer.
God,
Yeah.
no, you do not get away with that.
You
No.
know him as a member of the Brat Pack, a nickname given to young and
Yeah.
up-and-comers in the 1980s. You've seen him in St. Elmo's Fire and Pretty in Pink alongside John Cryer as Ducky, Molly Ringwald,
That's a
and
very young
Ghostbusters
John
villain
Cryer.
Annie Potts. What Andrew
Ooh.
brings to the role of John
Oh, yeah,
is
Ducky.
a lot of heart, imagination, energy.
Oh my god, what is that hair?
likability very
I know.
similar to that of Michael J. Fox, who was riding his own lightning bolt after being in 1985.
It's crazy that he became
Back
Lex
to the
Luthor
Future.
in the
Did
future.
make me wonder
Yeah,
if makers were looking for someone
because
who had
in
Michael's
Superman 4
qualities.
he was Lenny
He's
Luthor.
got great chemistry with Kim Cattrall and Estelle Getty.
Like,
Nicholas
oh,
seems to
dude,
have a
that's
great
weird.
rapport with him. You know her as Samantha Jones in HBO's Sex and the City, and for those young enough to remember, she played the role of Dr. Gabriel White opposite Bill Bixby's David Banner in the live-action Incredible
Yep.
Hulk series.
Oh,
Kim makes Emmy feel
Whoa.
warm,
Yep.
pleasant, with spirited innocence.
I'm sorry. When I was younger, I had like a major crush on her in this movie.
From fashion to music,
I think
and
most
she
people
plays
did.
off Andrew
Yeah.
flawlessly, to where you could be forgiven for mistaking them for a real couple. Little walk down memory lane. You know this lady best as Sophia Petrillo, the very sassy mother to the equally sassy Blanche from the Golden Girls. But in this, She's as sweet and pleasant as apple pie. Every scene with her is just a delight, as she has
Oh,
this
wow.
wonderful grandmotherly warmth about her.
Miss Timken, those video cameras, did they pick up everything last night?
I only saw what I needed to see.
The late Taylor plays Hollywood Montrose so well that you could be mistaken for thinking that this was just him being an extension of himself. But if an actor can convince you otherwise, job well done. When you hear him as Ultron in Avengers 2...
Yep, that was Ultron.
These seem like
Oh,
such a
God!
ride from
Ah!
the smarmy 80s
That's so
executive.
weird.
But that just shows you how far he's come. You know an actor is doing their job
Hey,
when you have
wow.
them hating you. For the less screen time,
I just want to
compared
slap him
other
and
cast
slap him.
members, she puts in a good performance as the jealous ex-girlfriend. If Spader played his role well as being a smarmy executive, then this guy plays his role way too well as an exaggerated stereotype. From the Tony Manero haircut and leather jacket to the bedroom furniture and gold chain. Yeah, I think someone should have had a talk with Armand in the movie that the 70s were over. You know him best as Lieutenant Captain Thaddeus Harris in the Police Academy films. And that's basically who he's playing in this.
That's why I want
He
to
does
punch
the
you in the
job well,
face. I
but
have
there's
that
no
trauma from those
range.
movies.
Had they cast someone else, the audience might have had less problems.
Yeah,
because there
that's
would be a
fair.
similarity issue. Sylvester LeVay composed the score for the movie. His credits include being the arranger for 1983's Scarface, Cobra, 1991's Hot Shots,
Oh!
and he was part of the Airwolf series from 1984 to 86. The score
Damn,
is
that's
typical
some- that
for
is
what you'd expect
range.
from an
Mhm.
80s romantic comedy with the keyboard, but I think that adds charm to it. Especially the John and Emmy scenes where they're acting out role-play fantasies from the roaring 20s, rockin' 50s to what was the modern 1980s. His score really helps to give the movie life, especially in the penultimate scene where John saves Emmy from being wood-chipped. And accompanying the soundtrack to the movie is Starship's iconic...
Oh, I love this song. It's,
Same.
it's like a
Nothing's Gonna
pleasure of
Stop Us
mine.
Now, which plays at the wedding at the end of the movie. Unlike the story of John and Emmy, there's a charming innocence that is also reflected in the music video with footage intercut from the movie. Like with the movie, the score is charming. Mannequin grossed a profit of $42.7 million against a budget of $7.5 million. Add in 35 years of inflation and it would be worth $107 million in 2022. The movie opened at number 3 behind Platoon and Outrageous Fortune, taking in $6 million over the 4-day President's Day weekend. Dan McQuaid of the Philadelphia Magazine wrote, "The message of Mannequin, clumsy as it is that the greatest place and time in recorded history is 1980s Philadelphia. Truly, this is the most uplifting film ever made about the city." Despite some harsh critiques of the movie, especially from Roger Ebert, who gave it half a star, the movie took in a strong profit and made a sequel in 1991's Mannequin 2, On the Move. Suffice to say, the sequel took less money than its predecessor of $3.8 million off a $1.3 million budget.
Yep.
There have been talks
And
where
the sequel?
movie would have a crush on a hologram
It starred Christy Swanson as the mannequin.
It was talked about in 2010, and nothing has been made.
That a bad
since
thing?
then.
Oh,
Since
I didn't say it was.
1987, The movie has been enjoyed on
Ah.
VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, and Blu-ray. I'm MJ Knight, and this was Mannequin. Well, you know what they say. Actions speak louder than words. Just ask Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's a good outtake, actually. Ooh, see, people, this would be heavily frowned upon today. I appreciate it's an innocent moment, but in today's climate, no, no. Raiden, bruh, you might not want to do that. No. Raiden's gonna be like, oh, come on, dude, I don't talk like that. It's like, everyone else like, really now? Okay.
Aww. Aww.
Eh.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
Well, another well done review.
As per usual, yeah.
Tiny bit snarkier though. But I thought it was necessary because, I'm sorry, Armand, what the fuck, dude?
Oh god.
Yeah.
I was originally gonna be like, when I go, you know when I said he's a stereotype? Well, and then we cut to a bedroom scene where he's got like very stereotypical 70s Lothario bedroom furniture wearing the gold chain and everything. I'll be like,
Yeah.
nah, I might not want to use that. But yeah, a character like Armand in today's climate, no.
Nope.
That wouldn't be tolerated. I think if they tried to remake that today, you'd have to have the right story, the right cast, and the right director to pull that off, because otherwise it's just going to come off as cringy as hell. Alright, let's put the music back on. Alright, we do the usual. Steven, thoughts on the movie? Does it hold up? Thoughts on the review?
Very good. A very good romantic comedy, in my opinion. Only discovered it, I think, only a few years ago, but it's still a good classic of the 80s. Though I will agree that some parts are definitely frowned upon today, but considering when it was made, it was a different time.
Exactly.
Nice, solid review, as always.
There you go.
And nice use of humor.
Lydia?
Again, as I said before, it's one of my favorite movies. Despite the dated themes aside and some questionable portrayals. Again, I like Hollywood, but it's like I can see where, like, yeah, you're playing up the gay stereotype. It's fine, just turn it down just a smidge. But again, it's guilty pleasure for a reason, and it's one of my favorite movies. And as it regards to the review, you did a good job. You conveyed a lot of good points, and another job well done.
There you go. Right on.
I've heard of the movie a few years back. I've seen highlights, a little bit of it. I finally see it full time. It looks pretty cool. You did a really good job detailing every bit of it. And for what it's worth, hey, it's good to see you come out of your comfort zone to show movies that some people don't really know, especially even that don't even know, but that some diehards who watch these movies know. So it's good to have someone like you have the uninformed just explain it to them in a calm and detailed manner.
I appreciate that. I just remember, because I think originally I was trying to decide whether to go for Space Jam or Batman Forever as the third ticket for this season, but for whatever reason, Mannequin just popped into my head. And you know, one particular morning I come home from work and I think, it's been a few years since I've seen Mannequin, so I thought, yeah, why not pop that in. And you know, I remember watching the movie in the 90s and early 2000s. It's, you know, on its own merits, it's an innocent, charming film, but watching it later with fresh eyes, oh good lord, there are so many things that would not fly to the... I get the janitor's perspective, because in the penultimate scene where Roxy would have had Emmy put through the wood chipper because she thinks she's trying to help because she thinks John has a problem mentally because she just sees a mannequin, whereas John just sees Emmy when she's able to come to life. And it's when the janitor is actually able to see Emmy alive just as John sees her. He's going through like the rubble of mannequins that are in there, and he sees Roxy, played by Carol Davis, which even today, how you doing? And that look on her face, like, in the innocence of the moment, he thinks, well, I could get a mannequin come to life for me, you know, that'd be great, but what he's doing, that's kind of sexual harassment, even if it's unintentional. Because I was originally, I was going to put in the line would have been, see, kiddies, that's what we call sexual harassment today, but I thought, keep it a bit cleaner, just say, okay, that wouldn't fly today. I think when you keep it simplified to where you're saying it without saying it, it goes over a bit easier. And Armand, to answer your question, Raiden, what he said when Roxy was coming out of her apartment, goes, Roxy, you look so foxy. Can I ride you?
I had to hear it for a second time.
God, I am not touching that one with a 10-foot flagpole.
Oh, Lord.
Again, he's a Lothario stereotype. I mean, originally, because of the way he was dressed and he had like the stereotypical haircut, I thought he was a Latino stereotype. But then when I went and did a little bit of revision, found out, okay, he's not actually Latino. I thought, take out Latino and just put he's an exaggerated stereotype. Because then that covers so many bases then. Because again, it's just the way he was dressed up, because it reminded me of how John Travolta acted to a subtle degree in Saturday Night Fever, because I think Tony Manero, the character of Tony Manero, is supposed to be Italian-American, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the impression I was getting. I need to tone down the future funk there. It's coming... Oh, Sparkly Night by Hey DJ. Yeah, I'm going to be checking more of that out later. But yeah, it just reminded me of that. And, yeah, I was like, I had to call bullshit on that. And the fact that it's like, hey, Roxy, could I interest you something your size? Like, come on, dude, really? That's why I had Lids go say, oh, come on, are you for real?
Because that wasn't my exact reaction. Like, the fuck, man?
Oh, but yeah, if they did go to remake that today, I mean, the idea of a guy having a thing for a hologram, okay, that'll be a little bit more high tech. I mean, that'd be like, if you use an example, have like you go into a VR game and you have a Cortana like character that suddenly gains sentience, and she's not just a a pre-programmed game character just going through the motions. She actually is able to interact as a human being would do, and then you'd have the male love interest interacting with her in that way. Although this is starting to sound like the movie Virtua Girl. I'm not going to go into the premise of that. Do your own research on your own time. But when you get back and find out what the premise is, you'll say, yeah, it's pretty much what you were suggesting it as. Mind you, that was made around the time where the internet was coming a little bit more readily available, when there are things I could talk about in that movie, but people are only watching it for one specific reason. We will go no further with that. But yeah, I had fun going back to work on this, and I think when Wynn catches wind of this, she'll probably go, "Can't help but feel like you're channeling me a little bit." I mean, when I wrote the line, it's like your collectible Sonic figure coming to life. I remember, trying to think of what can I do as an interesting hook, and I thought, no, just put Sonic on my desk. And I'd be like, I'm watching you. I think the only thing I would, if I were to go back and remake that review, the only thing I would change is on the tripod, I'd have the camera lowered a little. That's the only thing I would change. Other than that, more or less happy with the way that turned out.